Hello everybody, my name is Burrhead2, and welcome to my Year 4 Anniversary Video Retrospective. There's going to be some real talk, some clown-to-clown conversation, and I'm going to go through all the videos and Let's Plays I've done over the course of the previous year and talk about why I did them and my thoughts on them, and all that fun stuff. You know, I really have to wonder exactly who the audience is for these videos, but I'm doing it anyway. So, first things first. The YouTube gods demand a sacrifice. This year I'm putting 4 videos on the chopping block, being Gregory evades the IRS, Gregory gets red-pilled, meet the Vanny, and meet the Glamrock Chica. These are old videos that I made that now I really have to reconsider why in the world I even made these. Well, at least for half of those, I think those last 2 was because I thought it was kind of funny, but now I look back and think, yeah, those weren't very good. They really weren't very good videos. Those first 2, honest to goodness, I don't think I had any good reason to make those videos. It's probably just better off I got rid of them, because I don't think they're very representative of the kind of content I like to make. But it's probably just best I don't dwell on that subject too much, because I'm a big believer in the Streisand effect, you know, how you try to get rid of something, but in doing that, it makes that thing more well-known. But I'm gonna be honest, and that's just the whole point of this video, I don't really think I'm far enough along in my YouTube career for that to really matter. So I can do this as freely as I want. So hopefully, in these videos' deaths, my YouTube career will be furthered or something. You know how that whole thing works. So, Year 4 is not like Year 3 or Year 2, but is like Year 1, the fact that the first thing to mention is not a Let's Play that I started the previous year, so good on me for that one. So the first thing to mention, other than the sacrifices, is my 3-year anniversary video retrospective. There really isn't anything in particular to mention about the retrospective videos, because there's really nothing going on. I mean, I sit here for an hour and a half, you know, remembering memories and just speaking that into the microphone, and really what is there to mention? I mean, I don't know that I farted really loud and had to cut it out or something, which granted would probably be a pretty good thing to mention. Didn't happen, it hasn't happened yet at all. I think it's all kind of starting to bleed together. But yeah, this is really nothing. I mean, I made 2 thumbnails for this video, and I think I went back and thought, like, no, the first one isn't good enough. I gotta make a better one. So I made a slightly better one. It's not a huge difference, but it's at least more interesting. And that's gotta be a criteria for being better, right? So Year 4 is also like Year 3 and Year 2 and Year 1, I believe. If I remember correctly, like I said, it's all kind of bleeding together. Which the first video that I uploaded that isn't a retrospective was a meme video. In this case, the video is King of FNAF. I actually watched this video not that long ago today. So, it was around this time, there was this new meme going around, fiber optic cable core. I've seen it called noun posting, and for some reason I thought this was absolutely hilarious. And the most common iteration of it, and the one that I watched most of it, was Markiplier fiber optic cable core, and I thought, you know, I want to make my own. And so I didn't. I remember that this video took a surprisingly long amount of time to edit. Like, this video is 2 minutes long, but it took me the whole day to do this. Now, I think, you know, that time was just, like, going through clips and things like that, trying to find stuff to put in the video. And I actually had downloaded the first episode of Markiplier's playthrough of the first Five Nights at Freddy's game. But after that, I just went through the rest of the videos on YouTube, just kind of skipped through them and tried to find clips, because I didn't feel like, you know, sitting there for 2.5 hours watching YouTube. I just skipped through it. And that process of just trying to find clips did lend to a few things that I had and I wanted to use, but couldn't find a good place to put it. That didn't happen very often, but there were a couple parts that I just kind of tried to, you know, weasel and worm in there. But granted, I think the video came out pretty well, and I really wanted to make a bunch of sequels for like the rest of, you know, his playthroughs on the other games. And I had all these ideas for like the thumbnails, and I never got around to it, like partially because it took so long to edit the first video and I didn't really want to make a second one, and like by now the memes kind of died. But I still kind of do want to do it. Don't know if I ever will get around to it, granted, but I really wouldn't mind. Like for thumbnails, I wanted to use like the same image, the same like drawing that I used in the thumbnail for this video. The ones as a basis. For the second one, I wanted to go through like an MS Paint and like draw on it and try and make it look like the puppet's face for the second video. For the third one, I wanted to do like a green overlay. The fourth one, a red overlay. The fifth one, probably some blue overlay. I don't know if I ever found a good one for the sixth video. Seventh video, that would have been probably based off of Help Wanted. I would have wanted to put like a VR headset on his face. Eighth one probably would have been Security Breach. Probably like a black cap on his head and a flashlight in the video. But I just thought that was funny, and they came up with like funny different names for it. Like the fifth one based off of Sister Location, I probably would have called it System Rotation. You know, King of FNAF, System Rotation. That's probably the best pun out of any other games that has subtitles. Admittedly. Couldn't really think of a good one for Pizzeria Simulator. But I'm getting kind of off track here. So, granted, the video I think came out pretty well, and it's, as of right now, one of the few videos that of mine that I actually like going back and watching. I don't watch my own videos more often than not. I mean, I have. There have been plenty of times, maybe not plenty, but a number of times where I've gone back and I've watched one of my videos. More often than not, it's, you know, the meme videos, short ones like this one. There have been a couple occasions where I've gone back, maybe at least like 3 at most, I don't know, where I've gone back and watched one of my more scripted videos. But, you know, in this case, I like this video. At least right now. So, moving on to the next one, we have Luigi's Mansion 2 / Dark Moon pre-release unused content, Part 1, the pre-release. Now, I said at the end of my Year 3 retrospective that going into Year 4, I want to start making longer videos and maybe move to a more monthly upload schedule rather than a bi-monthly one. And I was definitely trying. And those longer videos are probably going to be the pre-release and unused content videos. Like, I've done one on Pikmin 2, and I wanted to do more. And there were a couple different games I was considering. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon was one of them. The first Pikmin was one of them, and was Super Mario Galaxy was also one of them. And I did almost like half consider this. Has been really, really off and on as to whether or not I wanted to do like a video just on the pre-release of Final Fantasy Freddy's Security Breach. I don't think I ever legitimately considered that around this time, though. And at this point, I'm probably never going to make that video, so I'll just ignore that. But, so I ended up choosing Dark Moon, and the thing was, all of those videos, they all had their problems. For Dark Moon, once I got to the section with the unused content, I was going to have trouble with a lot of the stuff I wanted to show was going to be in YouTube videos that I didn't make, you know, from other people, and then a very, very, very large portion of that particular section of that whole series, you know, of just the unused content was just going to be me taking videos off of YouTube that someone else made and then putting them in my video, which is going to be one giant re-upload compilation pretty much. As for the original Pikmin, there was going to be some parts, particularly in the unused content section, where I was gonna have a hard time explaining stuff. That was kind of a complicated subject. And for Mario Galaxy, the biggest problem I had with that was that I just simply didn't feel like I knew the game well enough to really go through all that stuff and point out, oh, that's different, or this is what this could be used for. And then that's why those were games that I chose to make videos on as, possibilities, because those were games that I felt like I knew, pretty well, that I wouldn't need to go through and watch something else or do a lot of research on the subject, that I could just watch a bunch of trailers and point out, that's different, that's different, that's different, But I ended up going with Dark Moon. And I think it's a little after this, or somewhere around this time, that Luigi's Mansion 2 HD got announced. And, something like that. And, if I really wanted to make videos on Dark Moon, I probably should have waited to, hop on the trend train for that, but I didn't. So, specifically with this first one here, I don't think that there's too much to mention. Now, granted, I believe for 3 of the 4 games that I mentioned as possibilities for making videos on, pre-release or unused content, I'd already gone through and collected some, trailers and teasers for those games. It was a while ago, though, and I think it was a little bit after I made Pikmin 2 pre-release unused content. I don't remember. But it was a while before this. And so I had plenty of trailers for this game already made, but when I went back and looked for more stuff later on, after writing the video, I ended up finding more stuff that I hadn't seen before, and if I remember correctly, I think those videos were probably uploaded before I had started looking the first time. So I just missed them. Classic me, I suppose, not looking hard enough. So I just kind of tacked those extra trailers on at the end of the video. But overall, I think this video was okay. I say that because I honestly don't remember really anything about how this video went. It was hard work. It was kind of tiring going through and just looking at trailers all the time, looking at this, looking at that, and I think I did miss some things more likely than not, but I think I was also pretty thorough, because I had 2 passes. One looking through when writing the video, and the second pass when actually editing the video together, so I could just put in little, notes in the corner of the screen. And there were quite a few differences, and there were some really, really interesting things here. And that's the thing about Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. I think there's a lot of really interesting things to point out with this game, and its pre-release and its unused content, but that no one's really gone through and given the game the time of day. That I might be the first one to have done that, not to pat myself on the back or anything. But that's more for a different video. So I guess more specifically on the pre-release section. Yeah, it's pretty okay. No real problems here, I don't think. I don't think. I don't remember. So moving on. Let's just move on here. Luigi's Mansion 2 / Dark Moon pre-release unused content, part 2 of the unused content. As I previously mentioned, the part where I went through the unused content was the problem that caused me the most worry. Because there was very little, again, that wasn't in a YouTube video. Now, admittedly, I don't really have the ability to go through and look at all the game's files myself. All the information I get is secondhand off of the internet. Right, so in a way, there isn't anything that I did that you couldn't have done yourself, and I'm just making really redundant videos and all that jazz. Where was I going with that tangent? I lost my train of thought with that one. So yeah, like YouTube, I guess. Just there's a bunch of stuff on YouTube. No, the thing I want to say that, yeah, I got a lot of stuff off of the Cutting Room Floor, which if you don't know is a website dedicated to documenting unused content in video games, but, I don't just go to the Cutting Room Floor and just think, well, here's all the stuff I need, and that's it. I do try to look at other things. I look at the Mario Wiki, or if it's a different game series, the Retrospective Wiki. If there's something there, though the Mario Wiki page for the unused content in this game was really, really bad. I think, honest to goodness, there was exactly one piece of unused content on that page. One thing. Everything else is just differences in the trailers. Which I'm on that subject as well, if I can go back to the pre-release video for this game. A lot of the stuff in those videos, in that video, and I think this was true for the Pikmin 2 one as well, that looked I personally looked through all the trailers and pre-release images myself, and tried to find as many things as I could find myself. You know, I didn't look up a list on, you know, the game's respective wiki, all the differences here. I think I did look at the Mario wiki for this one, but mostly just to see if there's anything that I missed. Like, everything is, like, originally me that I found myself. So I had no problems with having to, you know, source content from other people with that video. So with this one, again, a lot. Like, grand majority, bar none, of this video came from other people. But I think things ended up pretty well. I don't think there's any particular problems with this. A lot of the video, a lot like Pikmin 2, was just unused music, and there was a huge swath of unused music for this game. Granted, most of that didn't even come from Dark Moon. It came from the Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon arcade game, which is something completely different, and maybe I should have done better at differentiating in the video which song came from Dark Moon and which one came from the arcade game. Because, again, they're different games, probably worth a mention. I didn't, a little late to change that now. There were also a lot of unused trailers, not trailers, cutscenes, a lot of cutscenes that also had to be taken off of YouTube, because let's be honest, you know, it was mostly music, mostly cutscenes, and putting it on YouTube is just the easiest and the best choice. I can't really be mad about that, you know, but not that I would, I'm just saying it makes perfect sense. But I don't really think there's much else I can remember with this particular video. I did make much more of an effort in this video to credit the people that I ruthlessly stole from than I did in Pikmin 2. Probably should have done that there, and I would definitely do better at crediting sources moving forward. Because I was like really worried about like the people that I took the videos from to like be mad at me or something, like say, no, I want you to take down that video. Didn't happen. Now, specifically with Luigi's Mansion 2 / Dark Moon, pre-release unused content, the whole saga, on this video, I got a comment, pretty sure it was this video, from Orange Luigi, which was one of the two people that I sourced most of the content from the unused section from. And most of it did come from him, and he left a comment saying, like, I don't remember what he said, it was just like, yeah, oh, I like this video, I have no problem with this, like, someone finally made a video about the unused content in Dark Moon. So, great for me, I guess. That's certainly very good news. That is certainly very good news. Now, the whole saga, which was, and the Pikmin 2 one was the same way, was mostly just me stitching together just the previous parts with very, very little changes. It's kind of essentially a free upload for me. You know, I thought about it that maybe I should go back and try to incorporate those two trailers I didn't find with the pre-release section more into the video, put them where they probably should have been, but that would essentially have involved pretty much rewriting the whole video, which I really wasn't interested in. I was just lazy. I didn't really feel like it was worth it. I mean, sure, it wasn't the most elegant solution. Does it work? I suppose. Should there be anything else? Probably. But I didn't, because also I was just getting tired of thinking about this. I was getting kind of burnt out on making these videos. So a free upload was definitely nice for me, and a good. So it took some. I could take some time off, is what I'm trying to say. Now, I did worry a lot about the captions in these videos, the closed captions. And I remember saying before, I think it was probably my year 3 retrospective, that I began making captions that year for videos. And I thought I did a pretty good job. Now, when I've gone back and looked at some of my own videos, and I have the captions on, the captions are kind of mistimed, and like, I'm adamant in the fact that when I made the captions, they were timed very well. So it's YouTube's fault. And I thought I did a really good job trying to fix the problem how some people's captions just don't line up well, and here they are, my captions don't line up very well. And all the time, most of the time, they're pretty okay, but, so, thanks YouTube, I guess. So I kind of had to just weasel my, kind of just jimmy around, try to find a way to get the two captures I had made previously together, because I didn't really want to go through a whole, however long this video is, and remake all the captions from scratch. Which, it's not really very hard. I often just, not often, but I just take the script that I have and I copy and paste it into the captions and change some things in case I accidentally ad-lib some stuff, but it's pretty easy. But still, I didn't want to go through the whole process because that takes time and it's very repetitive and monotonous. But ultimately, I did find a way to get the two things together, and I was happy about that, and it seems to work pretty well, I believe. But all in all, for this video, my opinion is pretty much just whatever I said for the last two videos, because it's just those last two videos. So, moving on, we have my Let's Play on Metroid Prime Remastered. Okay. So like I said, the whole point of this is to have some real talk here, and I have to say this did not go as planned. The numbers, the view counts were really, really bad. And looking back, it makes sense. And I was feeling at the time, I think before doing this, that there definitely was a possibility, but I was trying to count on the fact that there would be enough, like, Metroid fans out there that were interested in watching a playthrough of a Metroid game. That apparently was not the case. But I don't really have very good predictions for how a Let's Play is going to do before doing it. Often I'm just going to look back and think, look at the numbers, how things are doing, and compare that with, or think about, like, does that make sense? Does it not? And yeah, it makes sense. I mean, there have been cases where maybe things have exceeded expectations, I think probably been below expectations. Not to pat myself on the back, I can't really think of any particular example of that, but it's probably out there. But mostly honest with that first one. Again, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here or anything. I'm just being honest, But this series did not do well at all. And, the Let's Play itself probably was not the greatest, I want to say. I think for what I don't remember, because I haven't gone back and watched any of this since I edited the very last episode of the series. But I think it went okay-ish. I think there were some parts that were not bad, but overall it was a lot of things to be desired, but not horrible. I think I've done worse. Probably in the latter half overall the Let's Plays, but maybe in that third quarter from the top, not that last quarter. So when doing this one, I had two choices of Let's Plays around this time. I was either doing Metroid Prime Remastered or Paper Mario the Origami King. Now, I kept putting off the Origami King. I had wanted to Let's Play that game after Super Mario Galaxy, which, for a refresher, was my second Let's Play that I ever did, which is still in my first year. And then life kind of got in the way. But for the first time in a long time, there wasn't a game coming out that I wanted to Let's Play, or I didn't have anything else in front of me that I wanted to do. So I had a really good opportunity. So I just thought, should I do Metroid? Should I do Paper Mario? And I thought, I'm gonna put off Paper Mario again because it's funny. And I had actually bought Metroid Prime Remastered specifically to Let's Play it. It had been sitting there for like a year. I hadn't even opened the box yet. I still had the plastic wrap on it. So I finally got to do it, and the whole series ended up being kind of a wet fart. But I did it, and I really don't think I would mind Let's Play, at least not at the time, the other games in the Metroid Prime series. But after this series, I'm kind of reconsidering that. Metroid Prime, I think Metroid games in general probably aren't the best games for at least me to Let's Play, because I'm not really the best, at commentating, to be honest. I have to deal a lot. That's not the right word, but there generally has to be something going on screen for me to, point out. Yeah, I can go on stories, but, I have to admit, I'm not really the best at this, and it is something I do, want to improve. But Metroid games are more slow-paced, they're methodical, there's a lot of backtracking, you know. And that doesn't necessarily make good YouTube in a sense, if you ask me. It can, I mean, it certainly can, but I'm looking for something new, exciting, you know, all the time. And something that's, you know, again, slow-paced, more often than not. A lot of exploration, backtracking, going back to things you've already seen isn't very exciting. Yeah, if there was like an explosion every 5 seconds and, you know, the vibrancy was turned up, you know, 250% all the time, then maybe it might be a better game for me to let's play for, but, you know, it's not. But you know, barring how well this did, I don't think I necessarily mind going back and, you know, doing the other Metroid Prime games, even Prime 4. But I probably wouldn't right now. I don't think that's something I would do. Now, for those of you who don't know, I like to try to have a conversational topic through every Let's Play. Just to kind of give each one its own little flavor, have a continuous string I can kind of keep going back to that kind of ties all the videos together in a sense. And the one here, probably not the best one. I just kept pointing out, jump scare, whenever there was a flash in the screen and you saw Samus's face. Not the best one, and like I said, not really the best one. It wasn't based too much on the game, and I wasn't doing like every other video. It was heavy and more in the beginning, and I kind of stopped doing it later on because I don't want things to get annoying. It's more of sprinkles on the whole dry, maybe kind of overcooked cake package than it is half the flavor, you know. It's not that prevalent, I want to say. Again, it's been a while. It's been several months since I've done this, so it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. So after this comes something interesting. We have the next video here. When Joe Hawley attacks, nobody survives. 5 Nights at Tally Hall, nights 1 through 6. So there's a little bit of background on this. As to why I made this video is I saw someone else play this game, and thought, oh, I could make a video on this. But also partially because I had kind of for some time wanted to do stuff like this, to make one-off videos. And playing Five Nights at Freddy's fan games was something I have considered a lot. Something I really wouldn't mind doing, and something I think could go well for me. It just, I think I would have a fun time doing this, and a game like this, you know, works pretty well. It's a very simple game. There's not a whole lot to it. I think it's getting some bad voice cracks here. But, yeah. And, on that subject, after that, I have gone through and I have looked through, like itch.io and Game Jolt, through a lot of fan games there. And I have began to notice trends that this game falls into, where a lot of the games aren't necessarily very good, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't want to trash this game too much here. I don't think it's trying to be scary. It's not really trying to be serious, but there's also something that I think you see a lot if you're scrolling through something on, like, Game Jolt. A lot of those fan games are really trying super hard. Like, they know they're bad. They know they're not really going to be that good, so they lampshade it. And it kind of becomes more of an excuse than it is like a legitimate point, I want to say. But I don't want to harp on this game too much here. You know, it's a fine game, even if I couldn't get past Night 7 because I kept dying to Joe the whole time, and he barely moved. He didn't do a single thing. He did move, but nights 1 through 6, he never attacked me once. Not one time. Even on the 6th night, he went to his last movement point at that last camera, and he sat there the whole time for the rest of the night. And it wasn't until night 7 that he started attacking me, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out how he worked. And I thought I was doing it flawlessly. I thought I was doing the strategy. It's based on the first FNAF game. I think a lot of fan games are, especially when you're not really trying to be too mechanically special here. And Joe, in this case, is the Freddy. So, you know, he makes a noise, moves to a different camera. In this case, he goes, Joe Hawley, instead of laughing. Which I think it's what I thought it was going to be. I can't quite remember. Something like that. It made the most sense. I want to say it's what I thought, but whatever. And I swear that the strategy was, like, you pick whatever door you want to look through first, left or right one. If you're gonna look through the right door, you close the door, open the camera to do the Foxy thing, close it, you know, look at the light, see if there's anyone out there. If there's no one out there, you open the door, go to the left side, look at the light, close the door if necessary, go back to the right side, and, you know, close the door, look at the camera, yada yada yada, the whole thing. I thought I was doing that flawlessly, and I swear, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I swear he attacked me despite this. That, like, okay, I didn't have the camera up and I still died. That might even been a point where I had the door closed and it still killed me. I don't know. But I couldn't keep the door closed the whole night, because obviously I lose all the power. I couldn't do that. That seems like what the game wanted me to do. I don't know, so enough about that. Speaking of the Foxy thing, I do have, besides the whole like Joe being super cryptic and how he works, the Foxy equivalent in this game was Ross. And my criticism for this game is that he doesn't have enough movement phases. He starts out in the photo booth, because it's not a Pirate Cove, it's a photo booth from the Welcome to Tally Hall music video. It starts with the curtain closed, and then it starts with the curtain, you know, open slightly, he's peeking out of it. Then the third phase is him standing outside of the curtain, and then, like, the fourth phase is him going down the hallway. What this game really needed, I think, was an extra movement phase before the whole, like, going down the hallway. Because he moved really, really quickly. And I think just like the original FNAF 1, is that Foxy can start either in his first phase behind the curtain or in his second phase, you know, peeking out of it. And when you only have one extra movement phase before going down the hallway, if he starts on phase 2, that makes it really hard. So that's my criticism for that. And the Golden Freddy equivalent in this game was Andrew. And I think I got the, was it a hallucination, or was it just, was it actually Andrew? I did get it, but I wasn't recording at the time, so I didn't have any footage of it, but I know I saw it. I know it was there. And, like, one of the hallucinations was part of the good and evil cover art, but it didn't say Tally Hall on it. It was just, like, the white and black design. I'm really sad I didn't get that. But overall, I didn't really want to complete the game all in one video. And I said that in the video, but I couldn't get past Night 7, the 20-20-20 mode. So I wanted to go back to it, but it's been a really, really long time, and, you know, maybe it's just better off sitting there without having done. I mean, maybe not better off, but it's been a long time. Do I really need to do Night 7? After all, I mean, it's been so many months. Getting a lot of voice cracks today. Is it really necessary? I don't know. It's something I could do in the future, but I think as time goes on, it's going to be even less likely that I do it. Oh well. Anything else I can say with particularly this video, other than the fact it was, like, really, really long? I made a whole bunch of, like, Tally Hall references and puns if necessary, if applicable. But not really. I don't think. Not really. Although I do want to say on the subject of playing fan games, I think I've gone through and there are more that I could pick out, that I actually have picked out that I would like to play, just haven't gotten around to it. And I think the reception for this video was overall positive, which for me is a good thing, because I wanted to see if I got a positive reception, if I could go back and do more of this. And I do want to, and I would like to, just haven't really gotten around to it. But anyway, I think I should probably move on to the next thing here. I could probably keep milling around, going in circles on that subject for a while. So next thing to mention here is my Let's Play on Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon is, admittedly, one of my favorite games of all time. It's on a similar level as Luigi's Mansion 3. They're both flawed games. They both have their problems, and some things that, I can admit it's not perfect, but I still love those games dearly. Just like, I like it despite its flaws. Like, Dark Moon is not a very well-polished game. Like, granted, its gameplay is fantastic, depends on your opinion on it, of course. But the way it flows, great. There's hardly any issues there, but pretty much everything else. It's like weird graphical things, weird oddities that just don't really seem to look right. Dark Moon is full of those things, and 3 is as well. Just kind of weird, kind of a shame. Not nearly as much, but 3 has its problems, believe me. But despite this, I did really want to Let's Play Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, and I was thrilled, or at least excited, to see that they're putting it on the Switch because I don't have a 3DS capture card, and my circle pad on my 3DS is disintegrating, and I also lost my charger for my 3DS, so I can't really use that. If I wanted to Let's Play a 3DS game, I'd have to probably emulate it, which sounds like a kind of a pain, and admittedly there weren't too many 3DS games I wanted to do, so I guess Hey Pikmin is going to be off the table for right now. So I only really had Dark Moon and Hey Pikmin. I could have done one on Miitopia, but that's a little too casual for something that I would be something that I should do. There's a lot of waiting around in that game, so probably shouldn't do it. I mean, sure, the game was $60, Dark Moon that is, or 2HD more specifically, and it's, even have to admit, as a Nintendo fanboy, that is definitely too much. That is definitely too much. It's not worth it. But I wanted to Let's Play this game. I wanted to actually be able to play this game again, so I think I had a pretty good reason. Because, like I said, I couldn't really play the game before. Now I can. And that is definitely good enough for me. Now, I have to admit that this series actually did surprisingly well. I figured it could have, but then again, like there's pretty much every Let's Play that I could do, like, oh, this definitely can go pretty well. I can accidentally strike a nerve somewhere, and I'm gonna get a whole bunch of views. You can always grasp at those straws, and I think there's always an opportunity for something like that to happen. Obviously, this doesn't always happen, but with this one, I think it actually went pretty well. Now, as for the Let's Play itself, probably could have been better. I think in particular, one of the lower end videos was the one where I fight King Boo is the final boss, which I didn't really need to make that. I really didn't need to explain that, but that one was a little off the mark. I want to say that one could have been better, but overall though, it's done well. I forgot to mention, what was my favorite episode of my Metroid Prime Remastered series? I don't know. I don't remember. My favorite episode of this one? I don't know. I don't remember. I really couldn't tell you. Now, I think on the subject of making videos for this, I did 3 extra episodes, and I changed the thumbnail design, again, for the extra episodes, which, before, I made it completely different because I kind of wanted to, make it obvious that this was an extra episode different from the main series. But my designs were ugly and bad, so I redesigned it, and it's more in line with the thumbnail tags or whatever I was using for the rest of the series, but it at least looks better. At least looks better now. Ooh, I almost forgot to mention. That reminds me, speaking of thumbnails, for both Metroid Prime Remastered and Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, I was doing an experiment, and I want to do it for one more Let's Play. Probably the next one that I do, where I don't put, part 9, part 10, part 11 in the title. Now, I put in the thumbnails, so that way you can still tell the order that it's in, and also in case I accidentally have it in the wrong order in the playlist, which has happened. I forgot to put one in there, and then I gotta put it in there later, and then I gotta find where it is. That is kind of a pain. And so you shouldn't have to trust me to always have it in the right order, because I don't really trust myself to get it right 100% of the time. Granted, I get it right like 99.9% of the time, but there's always that caveat. And the reason I was doing that is because I read this comment somewhere that said that YouTube will recommend your video less if it has, like, part, 9, 10, 11, whatever, in the thumbnail. That's kind of as a way to, discourage people from uploading movies and sections and things to YouTube. So I wanted to try that here. If I did that, maybe I'd get, like, higher view counts or something like that. Overall, the results are inconclusive, but I wanted to do it for 3 Let's Plays, and I've only did it for 2 so far, so maybe 1 more. And, so far, I don't really think it actually matters a whole lot. I don't really know. I don't know if it does, because there's not really anything I want to say that's really out of the ordinary. Like, all of a sudden, oh, this did really, really well. Like, much better than I thought it would. Granted, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, it did exceed expectations in ways. I will admit that. Maybe it's true. I don't know. But there's also an argument against that, which I'll get to later on. So after I beat the final boss, I went ahead and made 3 extra episodes, where I played the Skyscraper in Dark Moon. And the Skyscraper in Dark Moon is actually better than the one in 3, but that's a whole nother discussion. Maybe I can make a video on that. I don't know. I thought about that once, but it's generally one of those more passing thoughts than it is more of a legitimate idea. That upsets me quite a bit. But I actually had wanted to make a 4th one, because I went through, I played the different modes. I played Hunter, Puzzle Pup, and Rush mode. And I figured, like, oh, if I get, more likes on the last, on that last extra episode, which was, I think, Rush. I did the Rush mode in that one. I'll do the 4th mode, which is the combination of the 3, and I never got that. I never got it in time, specifically. And admittedly, even now, I still don't have that threshold. So, I never did that, which is a shame. I wouldn't have really minded, but it, didn't happen. So, I'm not gonna cry too much about that. So I think I already pointed out my opinions on the Let's Play itself. Not great, not terrible, but generally not great. Now there is the conversational topic to point out here. Now, one that I thought of for a while, if I ever got around to this game, was I'd constantly mispronounce Dark Moon as Dank Moon. Maybe not the funniest, but I figured that, if I would, a constant mispronunciation or something would get kind of annoying after a while, so I decided not to do that, and I supplemented it with probably what might be my favorite conversational topic so far in my history on YouTube: Ghost Detector app reviews. At the end of every video, I read one, because my history of reading something while playing a game is bad. Nothing gets me going more than the aesthetic pair with her demeanor makes her such an attractive. Oh, come on! Makes her such an attractive character. I'm complimenting you, you idiot. I've done it once, and it didn't end up very well. So never again, ever again. Actually, maybe I did it before, actually, but just more than that. But I only recall one instance. So, Ghost Detector app reviews, man, I love those things. They're the poor man's creepypasta. They're bad horror stories written by small children. And although, admittedly, I was having a hard time finding ones I liked, because I've been sitting there for an hour scrolling through Ghost Detector app reviews, I couldn't find one. Then, not that one. It was kind of hard, kind of annoying after a while. And I definitely was scraping the bottom of the barrel, at least, towards the end, maybe at least last third, just trying to find stuff that wasn't even really trying to be scary, more funny than scary, I want to say. But the criteria ended up evolving more from trying to be scary and being bad at it to more just this one's interesting, because I kind of exhausted my the reservoir, I suppose, of ones that are trying to be scary. Now, when I think of an example of, comically bad ghost detector app reviews, there's two that I think of, and I'm really, really, really sad that I never actually have found these, because I really wanted to find them. But one of them was that in this particular review, this person mentioned that they had a suit of armor from the 1800s. Now, I suppose when you say suit of armor, that elicits ideas of, like, medieval armor, right? Big iron plating. And then, I don't know if that's what, the person meant, but, like, when you say suit of armor, what else do you think of? Really. So, like, yeah, the well-known suits of armor from the 1800s. I remember when, in my history class, when they told me that Ulysses Grant rode in on horseback in full iron-plate armor into the Battle of Gettysburg, in the War of 1812, where Andrew Jackson did the exact same thing. That's... I think that's funny. And this other one, this one is... I love this one. So that this person was using this app, this particular app. Doesn't matter which one. And they had these friends over, and all of a sudden, the ceiling fan falls off the ceiling and just slices this guy's friend's head off. Come on. Really? Really? I don't even know if half this stuff's trying to be serious on how scary it is. It's just... it's such a huge stretch. And again, I'm really, really sad I didn't find any of those. But I think there are some replacements. Like, two that I remember that I talked about here. One of them was... I don't remember what the order was. I think it was this one first. This guy used this ghost detector app, and then he got, like, a message saying, "Oh, I need you to babysit our kids." So he went over to these people's house to babysit their kids, and he was sleeping in the basement. In the basement, there was a clown statue. So it's great setup. So he's, like, trying to sleep or something, and he hears this noise. This tapping noise. And he looks over, and he sees the clown statue tapping its foot on the ground, like it's impatient or something, I guess. So what does this guy think? He thinks, "Oh, I need more blankets. I need to go to sleep." This guy sees a statue moving on its own, and thinks, "Nah, I just need some sleep, man." Then after a while, a bunch of people end up dead. I think it was the parents, not the kids, ended up dead. And because he used the app, obviously. And then there was this other one. These people, they were like, these kids, I presume, were being like urban explorers. So they went to this construction site and used this ghost detector app. And all of a sudden, this jackhammer turns on its own. And it hits, what is the friend's name in this? Or like Paul or something, I don't know. Like, hits Paul in the foot, and like breaks his foot, and he starts bleeding. And they're like, "Okay, we should probably get out of here. But let's just go around and see if we can find one more ghost before we leave." But this guy he's got a broken foot, he's bleeding, it's bad. But like, we can spend a little more time here. And then, they go around to look for more ghosts, and they find one. They end up getting so spooked that they just jump back over the fence, and they leave Paul behind, and he ends up dying of blood loss. They just dropped the dead weight and just vaulted the fence, and he dies. That's funny. Now, granted, it's probably some of the better examples of bad stories that I found. Because like not all of them weren't really that good to me. I was really kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel in a sense, but I really enjoyed, app reviews like that, because they're comically bad. And unfortunately, I couldn't find a whole bunch of good ones, like I just said, and it was hard. I had to find a whole bunch of them, and I was kind of wearing myself out on it. But again, probably my favorite reoccurring topic. Again, there's one at the end of every video, except for the extra ones. And I swear I found one extra story that I ended up needing, but I didn't, actually. Because if I had that story, that extra one, I would have probably read it at the end of the first extra episode, but must have miscounted or lost it or something, I don't know. But I'd had just barely enough to get to the end of the series. But overall, I think this was pretty, maybe not decent. It was okay. It was okay. I guess I'll leave that there. So, moving on, we have my Let's Play series on Paper Mario: The Origami King. And I started this one way too late in the year. It was late November. And I really, really rushed to finish this before the end of the year because I didn't want to have a situation where I, again, started a series and then finished it the following year. As I said at the beginning of this video, I managed to not do that last year, and I didn't want to do it this year, and I didn't. Congratulations, you know, good on me for that one. I finished it not too long ago, actually. And part of the reason I was waiting so long was a couple of things. One is that I wanted to see if there was like a Nintendo Direct that would announce a game that would come out in like 2 weeks. I could play that instead of the Origami King because I wanted to keep pushing it off. And another one was I was having a really hard time trying to come up with a conversational topic here. I was planning initially on doing something I had decided against earlier, that was a constant mispronunciation thing. Instead of saying like origami, I was planning on saying origami. Again, that sounds really dumb and stupid, which is why I decided against doing it, and that would get annoying after a while. I ended up coming up with trying to do Hotel Mario references, and I did not do a very good job at that. I was not very good at it. Only very, 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 very few. Also, never specifically pointed it out in the series as well. I just kind of let it happen, or just I never, went out of my way to say that's what I was trying to do. Now, granted, that knowledge, if you went back and watched the series, you could understand. That's what I'm doing, but I was not very good at that, because I had to rely first on playing the game, second commentating all at the same time, and trying to find something that, that really fits with that one Hotel Mario moment that I remember, which was pretty hard. Now, the series itself, admittedly, I think was pretty okay. There was some low moments, but I think I had a good number of high ones. I'm probably giving myself more credit than I would deserve, probably more, well, at least less good moments or good episodes than I remember. I'm missing one particular thing to mention here, and that was part of the reason why, because, well, okay, let me re-explain myself here. Because I was trying to rush this before the end of the year, and because I had waited so long, I was having a really hard time trying to come up with a conversational topic, which was part of the reason why I was waiting so long, and just kind of like, I don't really know, try to come up with one with the series, and just kind of going with the Hotel Mario thing, that I was doing like, pretty much like double length episodes. Like on average, I was hitting videos about 40 minutes long. There were some that were longer than that, like over an hour. I think there was 2 that were over an hour. The last episode was like 55 minutes, which was getting pretty close, admittedly. But and honestly, I think that went pretty well. I've gotten the habit of recording about 3 episodes at a time. And before, I'd be recording like maybe 15 to 25 minute episodes, and let's just say 20 minutes on average, that's about an hour, probably a little more than that, of recording. Here I'm doing like 40 minutes, maybe on average a little more than that, like maybe 42 minutes, but let's just say 40 minutes, and that's at least going to be 2 hours of stuff right there. And maybe it might be a little more than that. I generally didn't end the recording at like 35 minutes, or like, 36 minutes. I was generally going for that, 40, 42, 44 minute thing. The videos that ended up being shorter than that have a lot of stuff guys getting cut out. Yeah, I think that whole thing actually went really well. It went better than I had expected it to. Now maybe that's just at the time I was doing really good with that stuff. At least I was feeling very confident. And admittedly, I think there was like a video where I was like, I'm not really in it today. You know, when I was editing it, I was listening to myself, and I thought, yeah, actually, this isn't that bad. You know, like, it's not great, but I'm squeaking stuff out at a relatively similar level of quality. Not to say it's high, but close. Not the same. A little lower, but about the same. So confidence is, I think, plays the biggest factor in whether or not I think I did a good job at a Let's Play. But back to what I was saying, the 40 minutes per episode thing, again, I think went pretty well. I think for videos it was better. I don't want to brag or anything, but I got more watch time out of the videos, at least the ones that did really well. The videos that were doing like 20 minutes long, you know, that's you obviously get less out of that. And specifically, as of me saying this, the first couple episodes of the series, it kind of drops off after a while. But the first, I don't know how many, but let's just say couple to several in that general range of episodes. In the watch time, like, percentage statistics, like in the YouTube studio, it gives you a graph of, like, you know, this percent of people were watching at this part of the video. A lot of those graphs for those early videos, again, were a lot higher than what I expected. Not to expect it, but they were higher than average. Not all of them. Not all of them. Again, it kind of dies off after a while, but you know that's really good. And I was getting more watch time out of it, and I think I would seriously consider going back and doing, you know, 30 to 40 minute episodes again. It just went well. That might have something to do with the game. I think it has a lot to do with the game. And with this series, I did put the episode numbers in the titles, and again, it still did really well in cases. So I'm a little dubious as to whether or not that whole thing about the numbers in the title really matters a whole lot. But like I said, I'm gonna do maybe one more Let's Play with it in the thumbnails instead, and just see how that goes. Now, as for my favorite video of this series, I really don't know. Grant, I think the last episode did pretty well. This was actually the first Let's Play in a very long series, now that I think about it. I remember this fact, that was not a blind playthrough. The last one that I did, ironically, was Super Mario Galaxy. Kind of. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. When I played that, I uploaded the first video on the same day that the game came out. So, I never played that game before, but it is a remake of Dark Moon, which I did play that game quite a bit. So, that's why I consider that game to be semi-blind, like semi-blind Let's Play. Because they could have made differences, they didn't. It's like pretty much one-to-one. Barring that, I want to say, like, I don't remember exactly how many Let's Plays I did. Let's see if I can't count in my head here. Like, well, at least 1, 2, 3. I don't remember. Like 4 or 5, something like that. And then the Luigi's Mansion, say about 5 or 6. That's quite a long streak of blind Let's Plays, and this one was going to break that streak, and did, but whatever. Now, I was really concerned about 100%ing this game, because I generally go through and try to 100% the games. The last one that I didn't. I've only scammed out 100% completion, to my knowledge, on a game twice. One was in Luigi's Mansion 3, which, you know, again, was my first one. And although I got all the boos and all the gems, I didn't get all the achievements. That is true. The other one I didn't do was Metroid Prime Remastered, because I was kind of caught off guard by the fact that if you save the game after, and the game tells you this, after you beat the final boss, you can't go back. And admittedly, I was, with that game, I was really not looking forward to 100%ing that, because that was gonna be a huge pain, it seemed. And I'm kind of sad that I didn't, but also not really. Like, you know, in retrospect, should I have done that? I mean, sure, at the time, I didn't want to. But, you know, whatever. And I never actually 100%ed the Origami King before on my own. I did end up looking up a few things, but that was pretty much entirely just to make my life easier. For one thing, I didn't want to waffle about for like 3 hours looking for something, because that's annoying. And another thing, I was recording the game, and I didn't want to have a whole bunch of, wasted space and things like that. It just took time off, especially time was of the essence, trying to beat the game as quickly as possible. And I did end up 100%ing pretty much everything. I didn't go for the special achievements if you beat the game without any accessories, or maybe... No, it's not taking damage. There's not one for that. But I did get 100% completion, and those extra achievements don't matter. It's just like, at the very end of the game, it says, oh, you did this, and that's it. It's just an acknowledgement that you did kind of a challenge run. But whatever, I collected everything, to my knowledge. Besides those things, I think it, more likely than not, was absolutely everything. A quick interruption here before I move on to the next subject. Is from me after... This is me after recording the end of the video. You might be able to tell I might sound a little more hoarse. Maybe for the best, I forgot to mention this. I don't know, but I'm gonna point it out anyway. So admittedly, I did kind of cheat the system a little bit with this series. After recording the first 4 episodes, because I recorded those all in one session, and then I edited those videos. So, in my second editing session for this series, I actually took my iPad and I began to play my videos from this series, and just let it off on the side to kind of give myself that extra bump in ratings. So it kind of, again, maybe something I shouldn't really be mentioning, because maybe a little dishonest. Maybe, but did it work? Did it help to kind of jumpstart things? I think it very well could have. Maybe not, but it felt like it did. Little funny anecdote I wanted to share as I remembered it right as I finished recording it. So recording this video. So back to your regularly scheduled rambling. But I think that's all I really have to mention with that, in particular. So we're gonna move on to the next one. This is another one-off video that I did. It wasn't like a bunch of Five Nights at Freddy's fan games. Almost kind of close. It was for Afton for America, the new campaign trail, William Afton mod. Now, the new campaign trail. This is a really interesting game to Let's Play, and what I mean by that is it's a really interesting choice for a game to do a video on. Just a one-off video, because it's a browser game based entirely around running for president. So, like, you can open it up and you can select from a drop-down list of, elections, which one you want to choose. Oh, I want to play 2012, and I want to see if I can get Obama his second term. It's not like you're inserting your own candidates in there. You're just playing as the candidates, and you answer questions, try to shore up support for yourself, try to strike a balance between, saying stuff that's good for your base and not, trying to lose your base and things like that. It's a browser game. It's not that complicated. There's a lot of reading more often than not. Like, the whole, gameplay is answering questions that, you try to find the right one to say as whatever candidate you're playing as, and in that historical context. But there was a mod that is a mod loader picked directly into the site. It's lovely. There's a mod where you can play in a fictional version of the 1988 election, where the Republican candidate is William Afton, and you're against Michael Dukakis, which was the Democrat candidate in 88 in real life. And I found this just kind of on my own, and I answered the first 3 questions. I set up, choosing the vice president in it, and I thought I could make a video on this. And when I got to making the video, it wasn't until I began recording that I noticed, oh, when you load up the mod, there's a big content warning baked directly into that. And I actually stopped my first take of that recording to really reconsider whether or not I wanted to do that, whether or not I wanted to risk doing something like that. Because I felt like half of the reason I was making that video was because I didn't know what was going on. It was a blind playthrough of that mod. And that's half the alert, right? You know? I didn't really want to lose out on that and like play through it and see what the potential offensive stuff was. Now, granted, it wasn't really that bad. There was like, oh, you can choose to smoke weed or something in there, like, you know, references to marijuana, drinking. That was, you know, some stuff. And if you're offended by that, don't watch the video. Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I do try to run a family-friendly channel, or 2 channels, rather. But at the same time, I do consider myself to be a 13+, ideally. Like, my intended audience is not children. But if you have, you know, 8-year-old little Timmy watching my videos, you're not going to have any problem with that. You really shouldn't. But I use big words, and again, I'm not intending, personally, for my channel to have, you know, its audience for it to be children. However, big caveat with this particular thing, and this one really stuck in me when recording, is that one of the questions you get asked is actually one of the questions that was asked in the 1988 presidential debate. I don't know why I know this. Michael Dukakis was asked. I think it was at the time, not to get political or anything, but you know, at the time at least, the position for Democrats was that they were against the death penalty. And Dukakis was asked, would you, more or less something along the lines of like, if your wife was raped and murdered, would you still not support the death penalty? And the thing was, and the game asks you're playing as the Republican candidate that year, that question. And so, of course, the thing that's like, okay, I'm a little worried now, because now we're talking about, you know, rape. I don't know if I should put this on YouTube. I'm not really too sure about this, and I was really conflicted about it. I edited the video anyway, just in case, and I ended up putting it on YouTube, and I figured I'll deal with the consequences later. So far, nothing too bad has happened, but I was really concerned about that, and I even put a disclaimer at the beginning of the videos. When I say I'm a family-friendly channel, I still said it's still kind of 13+ video anyway, though. It's because I was really worried about that. And maybe I should have erred on the side of caution, but I did it anyway, and you know, maybe next year this is going to be a video that's going to get put on the chopping block and sacrificed to the YouTube gods. But, yeah, that, again, I can't really emphasize enough, maybe, that how it just, there was that one thing that really concerned me. Now, I mean, granted, could have been worse. I suppose it definitely could have been worse. It just puts forward that hypothetical situation. And if you can deal with that, you know, if you're not, like, really offended at that, then watch the video. You know, be my guest. It's cool. But it's still, you know, we live in a society. And I don't want to start talking about, you know, we live in a society. But, you know, mentions, going that far is generally very frowned upon. Like, you know, oh, I can say, I just killed 15 people in cold blood. No one really cares. But that's a whole different step. Again, I don't really want to get political there. And this, of course, was another one-off video, and I do hope to make more. And there is one thing I forgot to mention about this earlier. With the first one-off video that I made, the Five Nights at Tally Hole one, at the time I was kind of wondering, how do I upload this? Because I was doing Let's Play at the time, and there was two options. Do I either, one, upload both videos in the same day, because I try to do daily uploads, or two, do I pause the series I'm doing to upload this video? Ultimately, I decided to just keep the one episode a day tradition going for the series and tack on the extra video in the same day. So sometimes, if you're really lucky, I might upload 2 days, 2 videos in a day. I'm not going to upload 2 days in the video. Well, maybe technically I could. There's been times where I've recorded 2 different days in one video. That's probably about as close as you're going to get. But for overall with this video, the quality of the video, little iffy. I tried with the editing. It's hard to edit a game that's entirely text, pretty much. Like, how do you do that? But I tried. Could have been better? Yes. Could have been worse? Sure. But it's hard to make a text-based game interesting, and like that's one of the things. It's a text-based game. Why would you do a YouTube video, one that lasts almost 30 minutes, on a game that's just reading? And I honestly didn't even know that's how long the video was until I looked at the length of the video file. I was honestly surprised. I thought it was going to be like maybe 20 minutes, but no, it was almost 30. Now granted, I'm probably never going to go back to the new campaign trail, but it's just a fun one-off. And small detail here, I don't really want to go back to the part of the video that I mentioned really stuck with me for all the wrong reasons, but I think if you go back to that point, I think you can kind of tell that I just kind of wanted to get past it, just kind of brush it off, not really say it, just, go past that part as quickly as I could. But anyway, I should probably stop dwelling on that in particular. So, here comes a little extra part here that I want to talk about. The year as a whole did not go as planned. Now, as I said earlier, in the end of my year 3 retrospective, I said that I wanted to do more like monthly uploads, do longer videos, and that really, really, really fizzled out. Now, I think this would probably technically count as the scrap videos section, which I guess I suppose it does. But after my Luigi's Mansion, my last Luigi's Mansion 2 / Dark Moon Perilous content video, I began working on a review for Metroid Prime Remastered, and I really didn't want to do it, ultimately. And eventually I reached a point where I kept putting it off, I was writing it, I just kept putting it off. And I just eventually fell out of habit, and just for months I was like, okay, I gotta do it, I haven't uploaded a video in like 2 or 3 months, but I gotta do this video, I just don't want to do it, man. And then eventually, I got to the point where, okay, I want to make my Luigi's Mansion 2 HD review, but like, no, I gotta make this Metroid Prime review first, and I just never did. Which is why I have such a small amount of actual scripted videos this year. Now, I thought about this once and just thought, this is my channel. I make what I want to make. That's kind of the point. If I don't want to make that Metroid Prime review, I don't have to make that Metroid Prime review. And probably I'm never going to get around to making it. The Luigi's Mansion 2 HD one, it's been a while since I played that game. That one's a little iffy on that one. And I reiterate what I said earlier about doing on these content videos on Pikmin and Mario Galaxy. Actually, I think, I did start scripting a video for Pikmin pre-release on use content part 1, the pre-release. But I was actually getting really far into that one. I was nearly finished, and I think I was kind of putting off running that one as well. And then I ended up losing a very large part of the script, and I just thought, nope, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to wait till a later point to do this, and I forgot about that. I forgot about that video for a really long time. It wasn't until not too long ago that I remembered I was making that. And I actually wanted to make a video, try to squeak one out before the end of the year, ultimately that didn't happen. That didn't happen, so probably maybe the beginning of next year, I'm gonna start doing that. See if I can maybe move back to more bi-monthly uploads if at all possible. If I get a big one, monthly. Well, just you take it as it comes. I'm not very good at following a schedule. That much is true. And there are videos that I could make, and I do want to get back into doing this because it's been so long since I've uploaded a legitimately scripted video. Just a video at all on my main channel. It isn't this one. Several month gap. Now I forget, was I supposed to do the scrap videos before or after retrospecting on my retrospective? I don't remember. Well, thinking about it, I think maybe it was after. Could have been before. It doesn't matter. I did it in this order, and that's what's gonna stick, unless I re-record this whole thing. So with that being said, now it's time to retrospect, excuse me, on this video, the 4-year anniversary video retrospective. Now, what is there to say about a video that there is nothing to say about? As I said at the beginning of this video, when I'm talking about the 3-year anniversary video retrospective, well, I could point out one thing, is that I didn't practice this video nearly enough. There are likely several details about my Luigi's Mansion videos and Metroid Prime that I merely forgot because I wasn't constantly reminding myself. Now, look back on my year 2 anniversary video retrospective. That video was 3 hours and 50 minutes long. And frankly, too long. And I look at that and man, how did I get it that long? But, you know, year 2 was a very busy year. Lots of things were uploaded that year. But, that had a lot to do with it. But I was also practicing quite a bit. You know, again, reminding myself, this is what happened with this. This is something I could mention in the retrospective at the end of the year. I started doing that very early in the year. And this one, I kept putting off, like, I'm not going to start in, like, March or February. That's too early. And then I just ended up not doing it. So here I am. But granted, I've gone on for quite some time so far, which I'm impressed with. For as little stuff that I did in this series, or in this year, I'm getting close to matching my year 3 video retrospective. So, oh man. So that's all I really have to mention about this one, except for the fact there were things I had to figure out. I didn't figure out what thing I was going to put in the thumbnail. For the top 10 videos thing, I was having trouble figuring out what song for that. That was last year as well, which we're going to come up on that sequence pretty soon. But I ultimately found one. What song is it? Well, you're gonna find out, because I believe now it is time for, well, the top 10 videos little thing there. So, here you go.
Want to listen to some tunes?
Then there's Title 2, which seems to play Pikmin 2, sponsored by the Disney Channel. My best guess to where this would have been used is the GameCube's game start screen. As well, it's the game's title. It's even called Title. Mario 35. It's not working anymore. I know I didn't play all that much Mario 35, but please don't go. now it's about this part of the video, where I'd probably like to go through and talk about how this year went a little bit and how I want to do things next year. But I kind of already said those things. So I'll just reiterate those points, I guess, very quickly. That this year did not go as planned, and I want to get back into the groove of things next year. So I think that's all I've really got about... voice crack, wow. So I think that's all I really have to say for this year's anniversary retrospective. Except for one thing, if you've watched this far, if you've been sticking with me for some time, no matter how long, I just want to say as sincerely as I can, thank you. Thank you for some bizarre reason, for some completely unknowable reason on my part, liking or enjoying in some way the things that I upload. It's nice to know that. It's nice to know that someone somewhere might actually care. So with that being said, I can't believe it's already the end of the year. Thank you for watching, or listening, or whatever, just for your patronage at all. And I'll catch you guys next year.